show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We Racøøn bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Racøøn Supply has the right price, giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Warrior with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC lab from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy RAC lab from the stash app. Racøøn taking lead in this haystack.
Morning.
Hello guys, how you guys doing?
Absolutely fantastic, Nois. Absolutely fantastic. I've been looking forward to this show. I'm psyched, I'm hyped, and I'm nervous. How about you guys?
Yes, very excited as well. It has been really nice, but very tough at the same time these last days with all the organization of the testnet launch and mainnet launch as well. We're doing them together, so it's been amazing. It's been very cool and excited as well. Thank you for the invite. So and very nice RAC music.
Thank you, man. Always a pleasure, and we are really happy that you could come today, Nois. So
maybe we could do like because Simon is here, and so I am Katarina, another co-founder of Nois, and then Simon is here. Maybe you would request the speaker as well.
Of course, I just invited him.
Cool.
So good morning, Ken. Good morning, Mol.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm just getting my headphones connected up. Give me.
No worries.
You guys hear me or?
Absolutely perfect.
Great.
Clear, loud and clear.
Just waking up, a small coffee on the side. I think it's going to be a very interesting space. So thanks for the invite. I'm very happy to be here.
Hello. Good morning. Is it morning where you are?
Good morning, Simon. No, for me it's afternoon. It's just 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, yeah, same here. We are in Europe.
Yeah, me too, man. When in Europe are you, Simon?
Pardon?
Where in Europe are you residing? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm German, but right now we are on a team retreat in Belgium. Central Europe.
Awesome, man. I'm sitting in Denmark right now, out in an unknown location, way out in the countryside.
That also sounds nice.
Are you planning for something?
It is. What you saying, Ken?
Are you planning for something out in the countryside?
Always, man. Always hatching a plan. Right now, I'm just looking at some pheasants out my window, and I'm trying to plan how I'm gonna catch them and eat them for dinner.
I'm jealous.
So again, thank you everybody for coming. I think before we get into the nitty-gritty of it all, I would like to hear just a little about yourself, but if you could keep it under 2 minutes introductions, I would really appreciate that, because to be honest, I don't think people came here to hear about your personal stories, but they came to hear about the tech, the randomness, the chaos. So if Nois, the guest of honor, if you go first, then we can have Simon, Ken, and then RAC.
All right. So my name is Guys, but on Twitter it's Katarina, because that's my League of Legends League of Legends hero. I'm coming from Web2 stuff, more DevOps and finance, banking, and some AI stuff as well, but really mostly DevOps. I've been in the crypto space, the blockchain, for 2 years and a half. And one of my big interests, is randomness. This is me.
Hey everyone, I'm Simon. In my day job, I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Confio, and this is what I'm doing most of my time. I'm developing CosmWasm, the virtual machine, doing that together with Ethan and Martin and 20 other people since almost 3 years now. And one of the challenges that we encountered with CosmWasm is something that people always ask for is, why can't I access this random number generator? Why is this not possible? And then you always have to explain to them how sandboxes work and stuff. So in late 2020, I came across this project called DRAND, which is basically a random number generator. And as a side project, I started experimenting with that. And did not follow that for a very long time. But then 2 years later, I thought, okay, we gathered a bunch of people together and thought, okay, we make that a reality. And we do not only build that for one chain, but for the entire IBC ecosystem. So I'm a software developer, also co-founder of Confio and co-founder of Nois. That's where I'm located in the ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Simon. Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for reaching out yesterday. I'm API3's ecosystem lead. I'm I'm a non-technical but kind of hands-on with developers type person. The co-lead of the team is one of our core protocol engineers, and we've been creating the first-party Oracle architecture. Essentially, we think that bringing data on chain from the source is a more efficient way to operate oracles. As such, one of the first services that we released, it's almost been live for about a year. It's like April, May time last year. We deployed AirNodes to the Australian National University's Quantum Optics Division and released API3 QRNG as a public good. So I think there's 13 different ecosystems initially that could access what the scientific community refers to as true randomness. And we extended that to 19 chains recently, just after Christmas time. We finished that up. Beyond this, we're building, we're kind of close to rolling out our data feeds for DeFi, which we'll have updates in the kind of, in the near future. And beyond that, we're also introducing Oracle extractable value, or the concept of Oracle extractable value. And alongside the DAPI data feeds, you'll be able to capture value at an Oracle level and kind of see that kind of value that would otherwise gone to block producers via MEV be returned to the decentralized applications or dApps that are building these services. So I know you said not to waffle on too much for 2 minutes, but I hope that gives you a broad overview of API3 and I guess a little bit about me.
Awesome, thank you, Ken.
Could you repeat the name of the project? I think I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, so we're API3 DAO.
Oh, okay, thank you. Cool.
Yes.
Awesome, Ken, thank you. Mal, go ahead.
Yeah, hey guys, my name is Mal, not my real name. We're not the Dutch team, but I'm basically one of the two co-founders of Racøøn Supply. And the goal of our project is basically have games of randomness or a game of chance on blockchains. And as of now, we're on 2-chain, Wawa and Nois Network. And basically, the things we want to explore is like what can we do with NFTs on blockchains, and we're also building an NFT marketplace on Wawa. Basically, the goal of the project is to have fun with the user and have our user use our product. So basically building the apps. But on my side, I come from, let's say, research, also worked into deep learning. So most of my background, let's say 70% of deep learning research and developing stuff in this area, mainly like generative models. But down the line, when you start like developing these kind of technical thing, you end up doing more software development. So this is where I ended up. And let's say I've been in crypto since 2017, and I started really working in crypto since maybe the end of 2020, something like that. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Mal. Thank you. So a short introduction of me. My name is Bruceman. I will be the host for the day. I have zero technical knowledge. I'm a gamer and I'm a people person. So yeah, let's get into it, guys. I have like one question that I think is really important to answer. Does randomness exist? Because like a computer device, it's a finite device, right? But what about the universe? Is that a finite device as well? So does true randomness exist, or is it just a word that we use when we do not know the order of things?
I would ask the question if it matters. Because, I mean, from randomness, in practical applications, you want certain properties. And one of the properties is that you get bytes that are uniformly distributed, so you don't have any bias. You want bytes that are unpredictable, so nobody knows the value in advance. Maybe there are 2 or 3 more that I'm not currently aware of. But if you have those properties, then why would you bother where the randomness is coming from? At least I don't do. But yeah, it's a scientific discussion that I am not an expert of.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if you have all the data in the world and the universe and can calculate that randomness, fine, you can hack the system. But for now, we don't have that. I don't think anybody has that. So yeah, so for now, we can consider that there is actual randomness that nobody can get or predict or bias. So yeah.
I mean, I guess from the view of, I guess you're approaching this from the view of a decentralized application needing to kind of utilize randomness, right?
Yeah, any application basically.
Yeah, fair. I mean, so at the minute, as the kind of name, I think you mentioned it's a deterministic environment, so I think that's referenced somewhere. But yeah, I mean, there's 3 forms as far as I'm aware. There may be others that are being introduced, but there's the randomness generated by the hash ID of the block producers. There's Chainlink's VRF, which is a mathematical based verifiable random function. That's what it stands for. And that's basically used by the various different hash IDs of the node validators that are then calculated together, I believe, which is fairly accurate. And then there's leaning into quantum fluctuations. And in the scientific community, I'm not a scientist, so this is just referring to the people that we've kind of integrated this with. They lean into, there's a really nice visual that somebody just created actually, which would summarize this for you guys. I was just opening it up as so basically leans into quantum entropy, it's referred to, and it's kind of noted here, quantum physics practically provides an infinite source of truly random numbers. So it uses fluctuations within a quantum based, I'm not quite sure how they do it, as I say, but it says here they're using a laser to measure vacuum fluctuations and use this to generate random numbers. Which I believe the scientific community refers to as the most pure form of randomness. But at the end of the day, practicality will kick in, I'm sure, for most of these people that are building applications.
Yeah, I think it's a very great thing that you brought about coming from, because basically at the end of the day, quantum randomness comes from like some sort of natural phenomenon, which I think, in my opinion, is one of the most pure form of randomness, because we're not able to explain it. And it comes from something, let's say, the atmospheric pressure and stuff like that. These are all kind of things that we as humans are not able to explain, and we categorize it as random. But when you think a bit further and think about Bruce's question, is it because we're not smart enough to actually explain what's happening there? Because, quantum stuff has not been like proven, and it's pretty hard to understand for the common human being, let's say. And I feel like this kind of randomness is truly random because there's no way to actually understand what's happening. Otherwise, there would be some mathematician that find, let's say, a function. You have your input and you're able to predict what's going to happen. So I think quantum randomness is one of the key things to actually have like some sort of true randomness.
Thank you for that, guys. So like quantum randomness, that's like right now the pinnacle of randomness research and techniques, if you can say that. Is that right?
As far as I can't say I've had like a career into researching, different types of randomness and how they're generated. But if you guys look at my reference point is the Australian National University's Quantum Optics Division. That's a bit of a handful, but you can all Google this and go see, I guess how they talk about themselves and how they generate their randomness types. The VRF chain-link solution it's still pretty, it's still a pretty definitive way. It's a strong way to form randomness. You're using, as I understand it, the various hash IDs of different blocks that they then sort of multiply together or form together to provide you with a source of randomness as such. If you think of the use cases on chain at the moment, you've got perhaps NFT minting, perhaps loot boxes, perhaps there's somebody that's using it as like a light strategy. As like a way to define a route through a light strategy game. We've got people using it for on-chain prediction markets, on-chain casinos, within like roulette wheels, or there's other types of it's called Arcadium that he developing that at the moment. For me, I guess it's down to the personal preference. I think what you're saying is correct. Do people understand this in enough detail to kind of form a judgment? I think that's the general question. And I've got a definition of quantum randomness that I've got here, which is noted as a bit of theory. So in quantum physics, a quantum fluctuation is a temporary random change in the amount of energy at a point in space, as prescribed by Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. These fluctuations are inherently unpredictable in nature, and theoretically this could be used to produce a random number. So it's a laser that measures fluctuations in energy within the air. I believe that's how it kind of works. And they have this huge machine.
It's the sub, as how I understand quantum randomness. It's measurement of the subatomic particles inside of a vacuum, right? And the fluctuations between them and the positioning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
But isn't it practically speaking as random as a wall of lava lamps that we also can't predict, which is way easier to measure by taking photos of it?
Was there somebody? I think I've seen somebody using that as a source of randomness.
Right? Yeah. This is why I'm referring to it. It's done by Cloudflare, at least in some marketing campaign. I don't know if they really do it long term, but they did it.
But doesn't that, like with the lava lamp, couldn't you like draw comparisons to the double pendulum randomness, where you have a double pendulum, you drop it from an angle, and it creates what seems like a random pattern, right? And then you can drop the same double pendulum, but just at a slightly different angle, and it will continue to make another random pattern. But if you know let's say the angle is the seed. So if you find out the seed, you can predict the pattern, right? I think, doesn't that apply to the lava lamps as well?
I think the system is way more complex with the lava lamp. So you have those bubbles, they melt together and merge and or split and go up and down. I think, it's very similar, but it's way easier to describe this pendulum, which we predicted. But I mean, if you have 100 of them and take pictures, then it will probably be hard again.
But I think one important aspect here is not just the randomness itself and how you take it, but also who is taking it and how many people and what is the link between these people that take this randomness. And here I think that decentralization of this randomness plays a big part in this, because, okay, you can use quantum and you can have proper randomness, but at the end of the day, if you don't trust the decentralization, and now maybe I'm speaking a bit more pragmatic, like in a proof of stake system, if you cannot trust the decentralization of your validators, sure, get whatever randomness you want, and then the validators agree they want to cheat you, well, then they cheat you. But if we already set a base that we can trust these validators, then if those generate randomness, for example, on a equally or higher decentralized manner, then I think we can safely consider that a proper randomness. I'm not going to say true randomness.
I'd agree. I think like what we're doing is we've just onboarded another quantum RNG provider called Quintessence. Then we have a third provider, but we're kind of looking for a kind of larger, well-known quantum RNG, and then we will basically aggregate those QRNG providers. So you're sort of removing that single point of onboarding through the nodes. I think what you're saying at the end is right. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people need these tools to be able to build the applications and services. In the pursuit of solving the Oracle problem, there's been maybe other trade-offs that have been introduced. And if you're, I think the premise of relying on a middle node layer to trust them is another point of trust that you need to introduce in this whole kind of supply chain. That if you think going to the data provider or the people who have got 10 years of history in operating these types of APIs or data providers, data sources associated to randomness is better than trusting a middle node layer, then I think that's another consideration in general that people should take on board. I think the advantages of it being a QRNG is that of randomness as an oracle is that there often isn't a scenario where there's I guess money at risk besides perhaps prediction markets. So if you're minting an NFT, I think the builders' applications question whether they need to be paying for maybe access to 3 or 4 different data sources to then aggregate that, to then provide that as a service for perhaps a lottery giveaway or a whitelisting process. So yeah, I think it's all down to the use case, the individual project, and kind of how far they want to take that decentralization kind of dogmatism almost.
So in the case that you're describing, you have a very good source of randomness and you need to bring that on chain somehow. Do you get that signed by the provider of the randomness such that you can verify the signature on chains such that okay, at least it's only one organization that can cheat me here?
Yeah. So every air node that is deployed to whichever API provider or API it is that you want to bring on chain, the air node has an address or an ID. That when that data is served on chain, part of the process is verifying that it came from that data source, the air node source that it was deployed to. Yeah, that's basically the verification process. I'm unsure how others do that actually. I think the Chainlink method is they switch between validators. They switch between which validators are providing that hash ID. I'm not sure how they verify that, even though it's called VRF, so they will do.
Yeah, I'm also not super familiar with the details of Chainlink VRF, but from my understanding, they are using a system called elliptic curve VRF, and this is basically something very similar to digital signatures, such that just that the signer cannot generate as many signatures as they want. They can only create one unique one, so they cannot iterate through the process until they find a value that suits them. So yeah, there's a specification for that, and it can be done.
And I'd like to jump in here because I've been discussing some nice things about the true form of randomness and is it verifiable and stuff like that. But if I take it from more of a NAP perspective of like, example, what we're doing, we have like 100-sided dice. Like one of the things that's at the end of the day, you have to think like, yeah, if I have this source of randomness is a bit better than this one, but what's the actual application and why are you taking this randomness? Like at the end of the day, there's pretty good pseudo random generators that can have a sequence, let's say, of 10,000 numbers, which would be unpredictable. I'm not saying it's the best thing to use if it's like there's a human life at risk, but at the end of the day, depending on what you want to do with the randomness and how many number you actually need to do something. So this is, how can I say this? Like at the end of the day, if you can have, let's say, one very random number, whereas another random process is able to give you, let's say during a block, there's going to be 10 people that are going to throw 100-sided dice, then you need more than just one very good random number. You need a bunch of them. So at the end of the day, if you're just using one very random number for the seed of your process that you want to do because you need, let's say, 100 or 10 random number, then it's a bit of a difficult question because you don't need only one number, you need a bunch of them and very fast. So I think this is where there's a lot of questions or discussion to be made, because why do you need this randomness is a good question, because maybe you don't need the best source of randomness, you just need a bunch of numbers that are going to be good for, let's say, a sequence of 1,000 numbers. I don't know if that makes sense for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very application-specific trade-off. So if I'm on-chain doing coin flip applications and the value of each of those game rounds is $2, then I'm certainly not going to look for a source of randomness that is highly secure, because what could possibly go wrong? Even if a block producer was able to cheat the system, would they bother for low values game? And if I have an application where I need randomness very, very slowly, and the impact is very large, I would not only think in terms of monetarily high value, but also, for example, there are a lot of applications in the field of governance where there's actually society trust at risk that you can hardly measure in terms of money. But it's very important that you have a randomness process that not only you as the provider trust, but also the entire group of affected people trusts. And there you might have an application where you only need a random value every year or every 4 years, depending on what you're doing there in with governance. But then you want one where you can show to everyone, here, this is where we got it, this is how you prove it, and we had no idea no ability to influence that, even if we wanted.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, because, and also like it's very hard to have, let's say I'm just going to take a pure example. When people are very interested in AI these days, because there's ChatGPT and then you have this mid-journey thing, but I don't know if people know, but basically how it works is that you have a source of randomness to train these models, because you need, like, it's called a Gaussian distribution, normal distribution. It's some sort of a random process that is distributed according to some function, let's say. But at the end of the day, like, you get pretty good models, even if you're using like a pseudo-random source of randomness. Because like Simon said, like, there's not going to be someone at risk because of this, because you're only training a model. So I think that's where, at the end of the day, if you understand, like, well, which type of randomness, how much you need, and then you can fit exactly the source of randomness you need. So I think it's very, like, not a personal, but what type of application you're going to do with these random numbers.
Yeah, but even in the field of AIs, there is a bunch of interest and push for verifiability of those algorithms, as artificial intelligence will become more and more important to everyday life. And there is a desire to ensure it's not all controlled by one closed company that then produces some model that nobody understands anymore. and that defines so much in our life. So even there, we could see the need for verifiability.
Yep, I totally agree with you. And one thing that we could add on top of this is reproducibility. So if you say, oh, I have the best AI model to produce like a ChatGPT or these kind of images, but like if you don't know where, like you can manipulate the source of randomness of your model because you have one seed and then the model is being trained. So like you said, it's very important that companies or project remain transparent with what's the randomness they're using and if people can reproduce, let's say, the results.
Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. So Nois Network, would you mind talking a bit about how you're going to produce randomness and your project?
Yeah, so what we can do is explain how we provide randomness. What we don't do is use randomness because, well, we are an infrastructure provider. We don't need it ourselves. We don't build applications. We let other people do exciting stuff with it. What we do is we use DRAND, a project called DRAND, it's short for decentralized randomness, as the source of randomness. And DRAND is a project that has been around for more than 2 years. It is based on threshold cryptography. So you have a consortium of organizations. At this point, I think something between 20 and 30 organizations. And they produce collectively random values. So none of the participants can cheat the system in any way alone. They would all have to collude, or I think a large majority of them would have to collude in order to pre-compute a randomness before the time when it's supposed to be released. So this is a randomness source that I find quite inspiring. I think it's cool. It's developed by Protocol Labs, and it creates the randomness for Filecoin block production. So if there was anything wrong with DRAND, then the entire Filecoin blockchain and consensus mechanism of Filecoin would be in serious trouble. Now those random beacons, how they are called, the randomnesses, they are produced every 30 seconds, and they come with a digital signature. So what I can do is I take one of those beacons and I can verify it. And I don't need to trust anyone in between the nodes generating it and me as a user, because I can verify the beacon myself. So we have off-chain bots that collect the randomness from DRAND. DRAND has nothing to do with blockchain, by the way. It's completely off-chain. They collect those random beacons, and then send them via transactions to our chain. And on our chain, they are verified, such that everybody can see, hey, this is how the verification is working. It's actually verified. And yeah, even the bots who are bringing them, they could run or get out of service, but they cannot provide wrong values. And if they do, well, they are just rejected. Yeah, and this randomness we then make available via IDC to applications. So we are focusing on COSM-WASM based applications. We have a proxy on the chains where the application is installed. You send a request to this proxy for a randomness. The proxy requests the randomness via IBC from the Nois blockchain. You get the randomness, and yeah, the beacon is returned to the application, and you get a callback when you have the randomness. Yeah, one important thing here is that the randomness we take is always a beacon that at the time of request has not been published. So nobody can, even if this process takes a couple of seconds or a couple of blocks, then okay, nobody can interfere with the system in the meantime. And nobody saw the randomness before. Yeah, and this is what we're doing. We have a bunch of demo applications on Juno, but also other COSM-WASM based IBC blockchains. And so far, it's looking quite good. We are launching mainnet, by the way, next week.
Congratulations with the upcoming mainnet launch. Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
I was just going to say the same. Congratulations! It sounds like you've got a good kind of system in place there for your RNG.
Thank you.
Interesting to learn more.
So how does I don't know if you know, but how does DRAND produce the randomness? What kind of randomness is it? Is it deterministic? Is it pseudo-random? Is it true RNG? Is it periodic?
It's pseudo-random number generator. So there's a key sharing ceremony, and in this key sharing ceremony, they ensure that everybody in the group has private keys, and they have a collective public key. And with this public key, they do a threshold signatures, and what they do is they just create collective signatures on the round number. So there's just a counter which is counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, and they just sign this round number. And the signature of this round number is the randomness. So this is something that you cannot do with algorithms like ECDSA, what we are using with SecP for regular signature, or ED25519, because for those signing algorithms, the signature is not unique. So the person who is signing can generate as many signatures as they want for the same message and the same public key. But since they use in DRAM, they use BLS signatures, those signatures are unique. So we know there's only one possible signature for the message that they are signing and the public key. Which means there is never a way the DRAM group could provide a wrong value to just give a value that they want to have. They cannot manipulate it. What they could do in theory collectively is stop producing random values or pre-calculating values that they are not supposed to pre-calculate and publish. But for that, you need a large number of those participants to actively influence the value.
Maybe I would jump in here. I was wondering, because how usually Oracle works, and I believe that's all Nois work and API tree. So how it works, I feel like it is, you're going to ask, let's say, I'm going to need a random number, let's say, for this given block in 1 or 2 blocks. And then you're going to receive that random number, and you know it's going to be random. But from a NAP perspective, let's say, because I think API tree, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, I think people are, like when they log the random numbers, you have a bunch of random numbers that are logged, and then when one is used, it's never going to be used again, right? But still, from a NAP perspective, if you need, let's say, 10 random number within a block, and you need this randomness from inside a block, do you guys think it's going to be possible at some point to have these type of architecture?
Yeah, it's already possible. It's a section within our docs it's not hidden, but we've been asked this recently actually. You can basically create an array where you request a set number of the RNG numbers in one request, basically. So you can have like 10 numbers be pulled through if that's what you want, if that's what you need.
Okay, so it's actually already possible to, like, I'm going to ask, like, let's say 5 random number, and within the same block, you guys are able to provide, like, with one query, you guys are able to provide these 5 random number, right?
Yeah, it is. It's something that we've not, we're looking to produce a guide around it soon, actually. It is possible. I think it's the way that you request the numbers. You need to put in that request an array to pull X number of the RNG created numbers through.
That's great. So this is
something like that. Yeah.
Great. So this type of randomness, like, is something that's crucial for like the app on blockchains, because like from a user's perspective, if you want to have, like, you're going to mint something and then you have to reveal, because you need to wait to receive the randomness for people to see what NFT they minted. Whereas what you're saying now is that you can mint and right away there's going to be randomness. You don't need 2 transactions. So from a user's perspective, it's much more fun to do one thing, 1 click in comparison to 2 clicks. But,
Yeah, so
got it. Go on.
Our solution to this problem is a little bit different, where we just say, okay, everything that is happening inside a block is deterministic anyways. So what's the point of inserting multiple random values into the block if you can just derive them? So we have utility functions that allow you to derive randomness in an app-specific way, such that you say, okay, I don't want any of my competitors to use the same values. I want a value that is, for example, I hash my contract address into the randomness, and I get an application-specific randomness that nobody else uses. And then you can say, okay, instead of just having 1 randomness, I locally generate with this seed. This very strong source of randomness as a seed, you generate as many random values as you want. So we provide utility functions for that in Rust that is tightly integrated with Nois, so make this very, very convenient to use. And they even implement the iterator interface. So what you can do is just create a for loop, and just say, yeah, give me randomness until you end your loop without too much trouble for the app developer.
Simon, do you think at some point it would be possible, let's say via IBC, I don't know, a query or an execute message, that you're going to call a random number and you can get it from inside the same block? Because I know via IBC it's a bit different because of the timeout and stuff like that. So do you think that's something that will be possible in the future, or maybe it's already possible?
So we are really focusing on the IBC use case in Nois. There are dozens of opportunities to make that chain specific, but we say, hey, we really want to push for this world where the entire IBC is just one big computing engine. That's our vision. We don't want to provide anything that only works for one chain, because this has been done. I mean, people have used DRAND beacons on Terra, for example, in a Terra-specific solution. This is cool, but we want to go one step further. So we take IBC for granted and say an application that is on an IBC chain is first-class citizen. So we'll continue to work on asynchronous communication, and don't provide this APIs that are synchronous. However, we will do a lot of very hard work on ensuring you get the randomness as fast as possible, ideally the next block, and make sure, the IBC connection is very, very smooth. There's a lot to optimize on the relayer side. That can be done. I mean, we are still very early stage, and right now nobody needs fast relayers for sending tokens. There is a lot that can be improved. And then also, we might at some point decide, hey, we create randomness on the Nois chain directly, such that we don't have this extra hop to DRAND. That could also be something of further research in order to reduce the latency. In the meantime, right now, DRAND mainnet produces a random beacon every 30 seconds. However, they just 2 or 3 weeks ago, they launched a new mainnet in which they create a random beacon every 3 seconds. So 10 times as fast. And we also already have this this mainnet integrated technologically. We'll not provide 3-second rounds because it will create a lot of data garbage on our blockchain as long as Nois is not heavily used. However, we have now the ability to change to any frequency between 3 seconds and 30 seconds that can be divided by 3. So we might go to 15 in the next step, maybe to 9, maybe to 6. we'll see. The database layer in Cosmos SDK is supposed to be improving, so we are really looking forward to that, and then really, squeeze out those random numbers much faster than we do today.
Right, that's amazing news, and very well explained. But again, congrats on the launch of Nois. I think it's going to bring something new via IBC, so it's pretty great. And maybe if I can jump in, it's not regarding randomness and stuff like that. Do you guys think it's like, because I know your cousin was an expert and Rust expert, do you guys think it's going to be possible at some point to have like IBC queries from inside a contract, let's say that's on Juno, and I'm going to do a query from inside a block to, let's say on Nois or Chihuahua or any custom-wasm enabled chain? Do you think it's something that would be possible?
You mean within the same block?
Yeah, within the same block, an IBC query to another chain. Is that something that could be possible?
No, because you need a relayer that first sees that as part of your block, you create a request. And that request can only be read when the block is executed and done. And then with this request, a relayer can provide the result. So we have to look for, or have to build applications that are asynchronous. Otherwise, that's not going to work very well with more sophisticated stuff.
Okay, that sounds good. I just add some funky idea in my mind that if you're on a blockchain that you have a 6 second and then you're querying another blockchain that has 2 second blocks, would it be possible? And is this something that we can think of? But it was just a random question. Thanks.
Yeah. This is because the block itself cannot make the network request. The block has to create a job for someone else to do the request, and that job is published after the block.
Thank you for that, Simon. Just want to welcome Bbandz up, our loyal host and co-host.
Sorry, I overslept. I was up a little bit late last night. Just got back from vacation. Had some things to catch up on. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Bbandz.
Morning.
It was St. Patrick.
Morning.
St. Patrick's Day was awesome. Our vacation was awesome. I am glad to be home, though. Vacation can become exhausting sometimes.
You're not doing it right then, I think, but nonetheless. Yeah, let's get back into the randomness. So I've been reading up today on a lot of stuff that I had no idea about. And I've read about very, very little about the diehard test and the NIST test. So are any of you guys using these tests to prove randomness, or is that just yesterday's news?
We are not doing that directly, but I'm sure that the scientists who develop BLS signature verifications and claim the signatures are uniquely distributed, they do this type of stuff. So we are relying on certain properties where people say, okay, those signatures have those properties, and they know their ways to test them. But directly, we are not doing that.
Thanks.
I would like to add that we're more an infrastructure provider. So what we do is we're placing ourselves as some platform that brings and ensures security in the transit of randomness and the verification that nothing is malicious is happening on the way, rather than actually the ones generating the randomness. So the job or the expertise within Nois is more like a tooling, and I don't think in any day Nois would become something else that would be building a decentralized app that does something. We would like to always be infrastructure providers for the interchain, pretty much. So even if one day we say, okay, let's build this other new product, that would also be an infrastructure product that would be used by other people, but not directly something for, we would always be providing tools for developers and dApps and not for end users or generating the randomness ourselves.
Got it, man. Thanks. So that kind of raises a question for me. So you build the infrastructure to utilize the DRAND randomness on blockchain. The DRAND randomness is off blockchain, and you build the infrastructure to get it on blockchain. Correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, 100%.
Awesome. So that means that we have to trust DRAND, right?
Yeah, you have. But you have good reasons to do so.
Yeah, I got that because of the Filecoin thing, right?
Yeah, because of Filecoin, because the people working there are great, because the inventor of DRAND is part of our team. And he can convince us that this stuff is solid. The technology that is used there is something that is not fresh and new, but it's very proven. And it's also not a group of 20 to 30 strangers, but it's a proof of authority system where, it's highly reputable organizations, a bunch of companies that know how to run infrastructure safely, a bunch of universities, and organizations like Cloudflare is a participant there. So you could be relatively sure that they have no interest in your on-chain lottery.
Got it, man. Thanks. So, Ken, you got anything to add? Any questions from the API 3 team? I know you have a kind of a different approach with the way that you want to do like trustless nodes and stuff like that.
I mean, it's great to hear what's going on within Cosmism and I guess the IBC. I guess how that's all evolving across different protocols within that, the Cosmism world. We're an Oracle, so we're not looking at it from the perspective of a chain as such. We're kind of building the architecture to make connecting a chain to an API very simple. That's kind of our focal point. That's our white paper outlines, that we see this challenge of creating oracles that enable API providers to easily serve data to Web3. They have a secure and transparent way of communicating to a DApp, because at the moment the oracles create a little bit of opaqueness in that regard. And then creating services that are very flexible and can be customized to the needs of either a chain or a DApp or a certain kind of vertical within Web3. So in that regards, we're QNG at the moment, what we released or what we push live, it's still a viable service, but it is a public good. We did it to kind of gain some user feedback and insights into how the kind of architecture that we've built behaves in production. And as we look forwards, we will continue to probably add additional quantum RNG providers into that aggregation. It'll probably become a monetized service in the future where we charge for people to kind of utilize that when they need to pay for it. But yeah, I mean, it's just in general, I think where we're at is that people now, there's some kind of, there's a bit more wider recognition that what we're building is going to have utility in the future. I think still people need to recognize that what we're building is still being built in many regards, not just API 3, but I'm talking more holistically. So all of this is, it's still an evolving type of, conversation and kind of service as such, that I'm sure people will have different solutions for and different takes on. And, that's the great thing about being part of it, I guess. But yeah, I mean, again, just thanks for kind of reaching out and saying hello.
Yeah, it sounds very good. And I really know that this whole Oracle thing is a different kind of beast if you make it in a very general way. So they're having all this arbitrary off-chain data that you need to verify and bring on-chain. And being able to only do randomness is really an advantage here because, we do not, for a lot of problems, we do not have them. But also, we are not an Oracle organization or project and don't plan to be. So different focus for sure, different solutions, and it's great we have them all.
And again, I have a kind of tough questions for you regarding the API 3. Are you guys trying to kill Chainlink?
That was the infamous headline of a CoinDesk article, right? Like,
I haven't read that.
Yeah, when we launched, that was the name of the first piece that came out about API 3's existence. No, I mean, Chainlink have like pioneered the kind of Oracle category as such. What they've built is allowed many different types of applications to kind of find utility. It enabled DeFi Summer, so I wouldn't want to see them die. I think their position as a monopoly almost is not necessarily the net good for the industry. There's also, if you go back to 2018, the pursuit of solving the Oracle problem, which is to remove a single point of failure from a decentralized application, that is very logical, and you can see why people would want to do that. Because there's been no lack of alternatives, I think there has been trade-offs that have been introduced due to the way that has been performed so far. So there is definitely space for other solutions to come in and perhaps reduce those trade-offs and at the same time add value to the people that are building the projects. I think also the sustainability of oracles is a challenge that maybe isn't necessarily thought about as much. There's a lot of expense that goes with operating a kind of inflexible middle node layer that has perhaps 15 to 20 validators confirming data sources from, in some cases I've seen, just a single data source. There's a lot of transactional fees. There's a lot of, I guess, overheads with operating that Oracle. And I think that's another thing that will start to become a bit more prevalent as perhaps the next year or two unfolds. So yeah, I don't know.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, I know it's a tough question. Go ahead, Mal.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I know QRNG is free, if I remember correctly. You just have to pay for the transaction fee. But since you're bringing some revenue stuff, I was wondering how do you guys generate revenue, let's say, only from QRNG perspective? I know you guys have other business, but do you guys think this specific business, the QRNG, is something profitable? As you said, it costs a lot to run these things.
Yeah, so the way that the model that it operates at the moment is it's a public good, so it's a permissionless service. Anybody can connect and read the QRNG service on whichever chain they want to use it on. The way it operates is that basically the users provide collateral to fund the gas transactions. So it's we don't have the overheads of operating those Oracle transactions and serving that on chain. I can't say this is definite, but I guess I foresee a kind of permission service. So people will be able to probably use the single source or single kind of source QRNG service as a public good. I think if somebody wanted to use perhaps a multi-source QRNG, perhaps we could call it DQRNG or something like that, then I suspect that will have a cost to basically subscribe or authorize to that feed. And then we'll probably start to manage the overheads for the gas wallets, for the gas fees, and kind of maintain those wallets and ensure that the feed is working at all times. I mean, we ensure that the feed is working at all times for the public good, but yeah, have a bit more robust processes around it. It's that'll be more akin to the services that we'll have available for DeFi ecosystems.
Awesome, thank you for that, Ken. Mal, I got a feeling that you have some hard questions for the Nois Network team as well. Am I right?
Yeah, because I'm wondering, because Ken said, it's some sort of a public good, because there's so many applications that use randomness, even not everyone knows about it, but it's a public good, that's a fact. So yeah, maybe same question to Nois, because what's how do you guys think you're going to be sustainable and generate profitability, let's say?
It's an infrastructure product, but it's a product and it's a commercial product, and we sell it. So if you want randomness, you pay fees for getting randomness, probably because it has value to you. So you can pay a small fee to Nois in order to get that random value in a very convenient and reliable way. We're not trying to give away this service and this value that we add for free in order to build a sustainable project. It's not like with open source software where you hardly have the opportunity to monetize it directly. It's actually a pretty simple service where you pay for what you want to have.
So pretty much when you send the request, well, you need to also send, so the request for randomness, you send with it some IBC noise tokens, and then there's a predefinite by governance price for the randomness, and then you get, it's as easy as you pay as you go. You need one randomness, you pay for one randomness, and then you get it.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Thanks, guys.
So, Mol, is that an application that you could see yourself using on infrastructure? You can see yourself using in the future for the products you're building?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, for minting NFTs, for lotteries, that's for sure something we're going to use. Like I think it's the best source of randomness for people to use via IBC. But when it comes to, let's say, playing slots or throwing the dice, it would be a great solution because you can go in 2 blocks. The only downside is, when you're going to play, you're not going to know what's going to happen first. You need to wait 2 transactions. So there was still debating, but we would still use, let's say, for seed values as a random number, and then use some sort of function, another pseudo-random function to have, let's say, 1,000 random numbers. So yeah, that's something we're going to use.
Nice. So I would like to mention something so pretty much on our testnet, and we expect kind of the same behavior on mainnet as well, is that now we're running this end-to-end testing where we go to Stargaze and we go to Juno, like testnets, and then we keep on sending requests for randomness every, let's say, a couple minutes. And then we calculate the time from the moment the DApp request the randomness until the moment they receive the randomness. And that has been happening with testnet with this mainnet of DRAND of 30 seconds. And then we've been getting randomness end-to-end about 30 seconds, 32 seconds on average. The maximums were about 40 seconds, and minimums we're getting 14, 15 seconds, the good case. But what is good to mention here is that there feels like there is a lot to improve. There is a big margin, and especially the bigger margin is, as Simon mentioned earlier, the DRAND rounds that are moving now from 30 seconds to 3 seconds. And that should give us a lot of push to optimize in this end-to-end test. But also the second big part is also relaying, because now the relayers that we have on testnet is more like, okay, I'm going to check every 10 seconds if there is something, and then I move it, and then I bring it back. But if we have relayers as good as the relayers that are transferring in osmosis, for example, then we could aim to go much faster and deliver that randomness end-to-end much faster.
Thank you for that. So what you're mentioning right now is something, I'm not a dev, I'm not a techie, but I saw that as maybe like your Achilles heel was like the timing. So if I build an application where I want random numbers like constantly with, let's say, an interval of 3 or 4 seconds, you're working to make that possible, right? Is that right? Is that correct understood?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's absolutely the goal, to make that as convenient as possible. But still, we have to see those applications, and a lot of people are talking about this mass adoption, and armies of users are coming and measuring millisecond delays but I don't think this is where we are at the moment. Maybe you have seen a bit of that when Terra was active, but for other chains, yeah, okay. It's more, it's still a slower game, the whole blockchain world.
Yeah, go ahead, Nois.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to add that, I mean, for now, we have the possibility to decrease that end-to-end time by decreasing pretty much like, for example, the DRAM that we're getting the DRAM already from the DRAM that is giving 3 seconds, but we are not using all of them because it is not profitable to make so much effort when you don't have to decrease this and to add database entries and make all your validators struggle with their nodes and have a large CPU and RAM to accommodate all this randomness when at the other side of the way you don't have like so many customers. So if it would feel like you have a supermarket and then you put 10 cashiers, whereas you have only a few customers, that doesn't make so much sense. But what we aim to do is to actually prepare ourselves so well that the moment there are so many customers, then we can scale quickly and get all these cashiers. So definitely what we would aim for is super fast randomness. But for now, what we try to do is not to make it very fast, but we get ourselves prepared so the day when we want to make it very fast, we can do that.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point because, you know, it's possible that during the week, let's say during the working hours, there's not a lot of queries to have randomness, whereas let's say on the weekend, on a Friday night or Thursday night, there's going to be a lot of requests because people are minting NFTs, playing games on the chain. So do you think that's something that would be possible? Because, you know, in other type of systems, you know that at some point there's going to be a lot of like asking for queries and asking for stuff. Do you think that's something that's possible? Let's say, you know, on the weekends, there's a lot more of people, so you can scale it up, and then during the week, it's just scaled down.
Yeah, that's a super interesting idea and something that we did not think about before, but it's absolutely possible. So the only thing that you would need to do is measure over time how many requests to get such that you can predict a little bit. And then you don't make this 30 seconds or every 10th round a constant, but you make it a variable that changes over time, which can be in certain time slots, can be every 5th round, and sometimes you use every 3rd round, and sometimes you use every 10th round. That's really cool idea.
Yeah. I think it would be great also from a cost.
It's also, I would like to add a small thing here, is that it is also possible to make in such a way that because now at Nois, we are only incentivizing bots that bring randomness, and we only accept randomness that is coming at its time. So every 30 seconds, but not the ones in the middle. But it is also possible to explore other ideas where you say, okay, I leave it permissionless. And then if you as a DApp need that specific randomness or need that specific round, you can also play the role of a bot and then come. And then if you need it, you can bring it yourself instead of relying on other people to bring it for you pretty much. And then you can also run your own relayer and then you can cover the whole flow.
That's really great. Yeah.
So many possibilities. It's nice to hear that you're ready for the scalability, and it's also sounds like you have or at least have a sustainable mindset about your business, not trying to produce more than you have to.
For Sasha, I think there are some comments on the tweet, but I would like to say yes, the Nois is only DRAM. I don't know if that has been. Oh, that's actually 37 minutes ago. Never mind. Sorry.
Don't worry. So I would just like to say this space can max last 2 hours, and we are 1 hour and 12 minutes in. We're gonna end in 48 minutes because we're gonna jump over to another backbone space with Bbandz, if I'm not completely incorrect. So.
Oh, it's bareback. I'm just joking. Bare bones is bare bones. It's bare bones of Web3.
I was planning for 1 hour, so unfortunately I need to leave you more or less now. but I don't know. Maybe Kais can stay a little bit longer. So if you have
don't worry about it,
any
guys.
last questions, then go ahead. Otherwise, I will need to jump off.
I actually would like to jump off as well because I have to do stuff before I move to. I need to go to Amsterdam very soon. So yeah.
Don't worry about it. Ken, you got something to say?
Yeah, I would like to thank you a lot for this invitation. It has been really a pleasure. And I really hope that we could keep this this like a push, and then we continue it offline and check what we could build together.
Awesome. One moment. We can, before you guys leave, if it's possible, it would be nice for giving the guests a chance to come up and ask you a question if there's anybody down in the listeners that want to ask something. I can see Robo just popped up.
Yeah.
Nah, he popped down again. He can't get it to work, seems like.
While we're waiting for Robo, I just want to say thanks for Jen, Katarina, and Simon for coming in. Like, I really enjoyed the talk. Like, it's very nice to see people having like very similar ideas, but like implementing a bit differently. But still, at the end of the day, we're looking for the same thing, to have like good randomness on chain. So, really appreciate talking with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot for the invitation and getting us on the show. It's great to have those opportunities.
Ken, go ahead, man.
Just repeating kind of what others are saying. Thanks for the inviting on. It's a good conversation. I was going to ask, so we aren't yet integrated into the CosmWasm ecosystem. I know there's EVMOS. I think I've pronounced that correctly. Is that still the best? We are also working on a Rust Oracle. It's just quite a large rebuild, so we paused it actually at the moment just to focus on other things. But yeah, where is the best place that we might be able to perhaps serve QNG to that would connect to the CosmWasm world, in your views?
So there are a lot of resources regarding getting onboarded with CosmWasm. There's the CosmWasm Academy by Confio. There's also an academy by the Archway team. Evmos and CosmWasm are completely different smart contracting stacks.
Okay.
Don't ask the maintainer of CosmWasm which one is better. I don't know to what degree Evmos allows smart contract IBC connection. CosmWasm is definitely built for that. But if you're sending your Oracle data to the chains directly, I think this is a big design decision that you have to make. Do you want to have one entry point to the IBC ecosystem, and then send data around via IBC, or do you send data to every chain directly? And then it really depends which modules those chains are using. CosmWasm as a popular one, or Evmos or Ethermint, it is called, as an EVM compatible one.
Ethermint, yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we explored it a while ago. I think like waiting for that native Rust Oracle makes more sense, but it just won't happen. It just won't happen very quickly.
Yeah, so we had something like 60-70% usage of CosmWasm amongst Cosmos chains. So if you want to reach all those chains, then that's definitely a good bet. And writing some nice Rust code cannot be too hard.
Yeah, it's writing it, then testing it, then putting it into production and testing it, and then launching it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Thanks for the advice, and yeah, thanks for hopping on. Not thanks for hopping on, but thanks for inviting us on.
Of course, man. It's really a pleasure that all of you could come. Really appreciate you taking the time. I got a guy here, Sheldon. I'm going to try to see if I can get him up. He's a gigabrain just like you guys. And I know he probably have some really good questions. Sheldon, see if you can come up. We've had some problems with the Twitter spaces rocking after the new update, and it's just terrible. Yeah, Sheldon, can you come up? I don't think so. Otherwise, any last comments? Nois gotta go. He's gonna move to Amsterdam soon, right?
Yes, I have to go to Amsterdam. We're from Brussels now. We're just like I made it sound like it's a big thing, but just 1 hour and a half. Yeah, or 2 hours.
Don't worry about it, man. For me, it's always a bit stressful when I have to move over longer distances. Maybe it's because I'm lazy. I don't know.
No, I fully like literally now. Simon and me, we are on the station, same station, walking around the station with all the noise that you probably heard. Well, noise, yeah. Yeah, so now his train is already here, so he left, and yeah, I'm waiting for the Amsterdam trip. All right, thank you very much again, and I hope we can yeah, keep this thread. And really appreciate this talk. So, see you guys.
See you guys. I'm gonna hop off of this.
See ya. Don't worry. See ya. Thank you for coming, man. Especially if Nois and Simon sitting on the train station. Hardcore devs. Hardcore devs. So, Mal, but did you like what you hear, man? You're the expert on the panel right here, man. You're the researcher. You're the developer. You're the dude that worked for the university and created knowledge for all us plebs. What do you think?
No, I think it's very nice because, you know, at the end of the day, like, I think what everyone needs to understand is it's really like, why do you need randomness and what you're doing with it. So there's like pure randomness. Like, I think Simon said that at some point you're going to need a random number every year, then that's fine. Or if you need randomness, let's say you need 1,000 number, let's say in 1 second, that's very different. But I really like what I hear. Like, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of like knowledge to bring randomness on chain. So it's very nice to see that people are building stuff that are quite different but works pretty well.
True, man. I remember when we talked about this space in the beginning, you were a little, I don't know if skeptical is the right word, but like the idea of getting random numbers every 30 seconds wasn't like the most exciting idea, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because it really depends what you're doing. Because let's say if we take, for example, a lottery, you know that the lottery is going to end in 3 days or a week or a month. So you know you're going to need randomness in a given time. So that's pretty easy to manage. Whereas if you're throwing dice, let's say you have 20-person throwing dice on Raccoon Bet, and then you need like a lot of random numbers. At the end of the day, what you're going to use is pseudo randomness, which you can do from inside smart contracts. You just need to make sure that the seed, which is like the first value that's going to generate these numbers, is random and it cannot be predicted. So for sure, this type of randomness is not as good as quantum randomness, but that's what you need and you need it fast. So that's where you do some sort of balance. Like you need to balance what you need and that's it. But like you said, if we cannot get like 1,000 number in 1 second, that's a bit of a deal breaker for certain applications.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And with this hopefully coming insanely huge mass adoption to the cosmos, we're going to need a lot of numbers really fast. Welcome up, Robo. My hosting mentor, I would call you. Welcome, Sheldon, also.
Hey, bro, am I in the room? Did I get in? Oh, my God, how bad tonight.
Morning, Zaddy. How you doing?
All the benefit.
I woke up kind of late, guys. I'm so sorry. I was up till 2 a.m., like finishing the news and stuff. So I was like, I couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't.
Oh, Bbandz, I'm glad I wasn't in this one because this was like big brain stuff tonight, you know. Wow.
Yeah, me too.
Bruce has done like, how good has Bruce done tonight? He's really carried the conversation extremely well for like the best part of an hour and 20 minutes. Take me hat off. Congratulations, Bruce, son.
Thank you so much, man. It means a lot coming from you, bro. And it really does. Thank you.
And how's HR? Hello, Mal, you sexy little bastard.
How's it going, Robo, man?
Well, I'm trying not to cause any more fires, dude. I got a telling off last night, so I'm on best behaviour from now on. Uncle Elroy on his best behaviour, you know.
Man, at the end of the day, you just gotta be who you gotta be. Like, don't get people like try to change you. You're just you, man. That's it.
Robo, you never have to change, but you can always get better. You know what I mean?
Bbandz, don't tell that to the dude. Robo, you gotta change your underwear and socks daily.
I know what you mean, Bbandz. I know what you mean. And you know something, what we're trying to do, we're trying to forge forward anyway. Mol, did you enjoy tonight getting API 3 on? That's kind of your wheelhouse. Did you enjoy yourself, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty nice. And seeing what they're doing, it's very different, man. Like to use quantum randomness is like next level things. So yeah, I was very excited when Bruce reached out to me and was like, API 3 is coming, and then you reached out, API 3 is coming. Amazing.
Oh, bro, it was so hard, and it was really like last minute only when I tagged him because I thought like he was going to be there. I did want to try to get I mean, I know she's not an integral part, but she is like API 3 to me. I did want to get Sasha on as well, just because like I'm a pure fanboy. Like I've got a right mad crush, but never mind. He'll do. Brucey, we should get him back for a Friday show because he seemed like he was good crack. And he's English as well, so we'll get on like a house on fire, you know.
Perfect, man. That's perfect. But yeah, I really enjoyed the knowledge in this space as well. And I don't know if you don't know Mol, it comes as a surprise, but I wasn't surprised that Mol in like 2 sentences helped Nois Network get some new ideas. Like that's gold.
That was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. It was like, oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because basically I helped a bit a guy. Basically, like, you know, when you have like some sort of like a big computer system, and you know, like that during the day you're gonna have a bunch of requests. I helped some dude to create like an AI model that's gonna predict. Okay, I'm seeing these type of requests happening right now, so I think in an hour I'm gonna need more. Like, I'm gonna receive more queries, so I need to increase the capacity of the bandwidth. So, and that way you're saving money. So if you don't need relayers during like the weekdays, then that's it. But you need them during the weekend. So you're optimizing your profit too.
Oh, dude, it was insane. Do you know something that Mol that I only like realized like quite like recently? Like I've always been aware of the golden ratio, right? Like it's something that's prominent, blah blah blah. You know, we get taught it, etc., etc. But I didn't realize that like when you talk about pure randomness, I think people think it's easier to achieve than it actually is, right? Because like nature like defies like just pure randomness at times, doesn't it? It has like uniformity. Like we have uniformity right across the entire universe kind of thing, right? To a degree, yeah.
Yeah, and I really like that it went a bit like philosophical, let's say, because my point of view is like pure randomness exists for now. Like quantum randomness is basically like a natural phenomenon that we cannot explain. But is it because we're not smart enough yet to actually explain what's happening there? But yeah, it's these type of thing is kind of fun to discuss about it, but you never know if everything is true or many people have different point of views. But yeah, that part was very nice.
I like that. I like the fact, don't you, Bruce? Do you like it as well? The fact of like Mol's like, are we just not smart? Like we're not smart enough yet that we haven't figured it out, and everyone's like, oh right, okay, maybe.
100%, man. And today when I was reading up about randomness, I actually got a bit sad because during my teenage years, I became very I can't say the word philosophical. Please help me.
Philosophical.
Thank you. About randomness. And I wrote a sentence down, I think I was 14 years old, and it always stick with me, where I said, chaos is the indicator of order ignorance. So when we call something chaos, it's only because we do not know the order, right? And the same with random. When we call something random, it's because we don't know the chain of reaction that led up to that action. So when I throw the dice, how they land is not random, it's physics, right? It's depending on what material the dice is made of. It's depending on how hard I throw the dice, what height, what material it's going to land on, the bounce and all this. It can't be calculated. But
correct.
But we are not all Mol, so we cannot calculate it. Mol can be, or he can ask his AI to do it, right? So like Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's some kind of things that you think is random, but if you have like let's say an AI model or a system that is able to understand everything that's happening. But like you said, if for example, let's take something pretty random, like if we were able to have like an AI model that's able to predict like the Bitcoin price every second, like it could be possible if you have a very, very complicated model that predicts it. But for us, it's purely random. Like if you would know what's the price of Bitcoin in the next second, you would bet your entire life saving on it, and you know you're going to be rich. But it's not possible. So yeah, it's very philosophical, let's say.
Don't Las Vegas casinos spend like millions and millions of dollars a year into like research and shit on this kind of thing? Like don't they like really kind of focus on all aspects of like probability in regards to like things like the dice? Like if I remember rightly, like the dice have to be like calibrated, don't they? Every single like sitting or something, and then every so often they take the dice out and recalibrate them, right? Like the casinos,
It's kind of crazy. Like I think they do the same thing with the roulette as well. Because like at the end of the day, a casino is like, it's a business. Like, you know, you're going to make like your 2% like at the end of the year, but maybe for the first 2 weeks, you don't make any money and you're losing money. But like you said, these things needs to be calibrated because you're betting on something that's going to happen not that very often. So that's where it's get a bit more tricky in like the human's brain, because if something happens once every 1 million times, man, try to imagine that, like once in a million times, even anyone is not able to actually understand once in a million because it's so rare. But when it happens, you're like, oh shit, it actually happened. So.
Because it's probable, like, but not impossible, essentially. That's the difference, isn't it? The difference between probability and impossibility. Or improbability, I should say, which is not impossibility, right? And I'm glad you mentioned the roulette wheels there. I'm sure like years and years ago or something, I read about this, about, you know, the people that manufacture them. Don't they go through like insane like tests where they've just got this like robot and they just keep firing like on the roulette wheel like millions of times to test it or something? I'm sure we're the best in the world. They've got some mad like machine to do that. I read this like a few years ago.
I'm pretty sure like it's stress testing. And I think it's a normal common practice with like whenever you do mass production, right? It's the same with shoes. They stress test the shoes. Same with like whenever I've been a gamer on a fairly high level, right? And whenever I bought a new mouse or if I got a new sponsor, they will always tell me how many clicks was tested, not on that specific mouse, but on the product, right? So I was guaranteed I could click 5 million times on this mouse, or this keyboard is guaranteed to work for 7 million keystrokes.
Yeah, they did that with the Motorola. I think it was the Motorola Razr. It was a Motorola Razr, if anyone can remember that. They had like a robot arm in the Motorola factory, if you remember, like Google bought it over, and that's how Android came about and that. But that V3, the V3 Razr was called, the flip that everybody loved at the time in the early 2000s, that had like this arm or something, and it like a robotic arm, and it like given the flip like 3 million, like the phone, and it flipped it open and flipped it shut like 3 million times or something, and it was still going. Like the kind of like guaranteed it. Like it's a mad story, that one. There's pictures on the internet on YouTube actually, if you look. Yeah,
that was a different time where like manufacturers were trying to make product that would last, right? It's not how it goes anymore. Now all the money goes into obsolete design.
Yeah, well, Motorola were famous for that. They were the first people to invent or create or bring into the market Gorilla Glass. So like Gorilla Glass kind of like standard now on the, you know, the tough phones, the builder phones and stuff like the workmen use. But like, dude, Motorola like kind of like that's their patent, I think. One of the patents that Google bought out. They were pioneers, Motorola.
Absolutely. Hello, Moto. I still love that fucking sound, man. It's just programmed into my brain.
Oh, bro, they had like the only indestructible phone, honest to God, on Earth. I forgot what it was called again. I think we were talking about it the other week. Tradies used to buy. Oh, dude, they loved it. It was called like the Brick. Its nickname. It was just fucking indestructible. Anyway, don't know how we got on the phones from that. Bbandz, do you want to tell us about your guests tonight, darling?
Yes, today I have the Krusty Critters gang. They're actually pretty big team, all family run, and they'll be talking about their different their memes, the NFTs that they're doing, a little bit about their family. They did like a little video and introduced each person during the USDC DPEG. So that I thought that was really cool. We'll get to like really talk to them, see what they're into. They have a dev on their team. They have a zookeeper. They have a meme king and an artist and a CEO. So I'm pretty excited to see their mascot, the Chumbalaya, which is like the dog on the NFT, the ugly ass dog. It's actually a real dog. Like that, like my dog is ugly as hell. So I know.
They're mad, aren't they? Krusty Critters are mad, aren't they?
They're hilarious.
Hello?
And I didn't, when I saw the art, like I didn't expect the artist. I didn't expect the artist to be like Ariana. Like I thought it was going to be like, because of the wittiness of the images, I thought it was going to be like an old man or something. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry. I just
What the fuck, Bbandz? What's wrong with your mind?
It is. I thought it was like because of the way the NFT was. I really thought that maybe the artist.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. A female saying female ain't funny. You just told
she's
us
hilarious.
that females aren't funny because you thought that was a dude. You thought it was dude because he was funny.
No, because there was so many. There are so many dudes in this space. And I have a comedian going to be on the show, Jocelyn, an NFT comedian. She'll be on the show in a couple weeks. So women are funny. I just maybe the style of the comedy is what I thought. You know what, guys? Never mind.
You know what? They are great guys, though. They're great people. They came up and contacted me straight away when they got a raccoon, and they were like, "You're looking for the raccoons, aren't you? For the trailer park kids?" And I'm like, "Damn right, am I?" And they completed like me 3, and I'm like, "I'll swap you for a squid." They're like, "Oh, we're looking for a squid." I'm like, "No problem." And then they sent me a little raccoon Krusty Critter in a trash can. It looks lovely. It's in the vault.
Yeah, they're a good gang.
I like the art
really
style.
Good gang.
I really do like the art style.
They're a bit wacky. They remind me of some like 80s cartoons or something, right?
Yep. They also have a bunch of grown-ass people in the team, so that makes sense.
Oh, that is true. Grown-ass people. Yeah, because we have the dev, the meme king. I'm sure he's like our age. I saw, you watched the video too, guys.
What do you mean when you say like our age?
Older, up there. Not too up there, but like in the middles.
Bbandz, can I ask you a question? Well, can you ask them a question tonight? You can say this came from Robo.
Let me put it on let me put it on my question list 1 second. All right, go ahead. Question from Robo.
Who in the Cosmos community is their biggest muse? So I've seen them do like stuff on Jacob and that, when Jacob does the Goodfellas, when he walks across the road and like slaps the other guy, Goodfellas, when they're giving his missus shit, Karen, and he walks across with a gun, he starts so he's done like a few with Jacob, he's done some with Joe and Don together, I've noticed, or they have, right? So yeah, basically just who of the community is their biggest muse? Like who provides them with like so much inspiration and material and entertainment for them to then go and do what they do with like the meme videos and that. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I
use
got
the
your
word
fingers crossed
muse.
right now. You're like, let them say Robo. Let them say Robo. Let them say Robo.
Like I think muse probably like is like the right kind of word. I don't know. I was thinking about that myself. I'm like, is that what that? But like, I just remember some of the shit they did when Jacob was on fire, and it had me in hysterics. What were difficult times? Like some of the stuff Krusty Critters put out carried us through some of the dark times. That's all I will say, mate.
I mean, their memes are on point. The meme king, he's on point. He's freaking hilarious. My favorite is the one where it's like an old Mad TV, SNL sketch, and the devil guy, he's like, "I'm your shoulder devil," and he like jumps on, he's like, "Put the McDoodle down. No one is seeing this."
Oh my God.
Got a little chubby devil sitting on whose shoulder was it? that he was sitting on? Was it Don
What?
Kryptonium?
Chubby baby, or what did you say? Chubby baby, or chubby devil?
It was a chubby devil sitting on whose? It was whose shoulder? It was on Jacob's shoulder, because Jacob, the whole thing with Jacob and Joe was going back and forth, and they had the shoulder devil on him. I thought it was extremely witty.
I saw that, man. I'm your shoulder devil, and he crawls up on his shoulder. That's fucking funny, man.
It was Joe's head. It was Joe's head.
Exactly, yeah.
Which one was the Goodfellas one where he walked across the road with a gun and then pistol whipped him in the street? Like really later, on the movie when he walks and bang, bang, bang. Who was that again that he did it to? It was Jacob, and I don't know if it was Jackal or it was one of them he was going after at the time. It was fucking brilliant.
Hey guys, can I ask you a question? Has anybody ever spoke to LOWL Slowo or Lowo? No one's ever spoken.
Wait, we were getting rugged the other night, and I did invite Slowo up as a speaker, and we got an acceptance. But then the bloody Twitter was rugging again, and I think, so they were going to come up.
I just invited him or her or whatever.
I say they because I don't know if it,
Or they. Come on, man. You can't forget.
Sorry.
Well, can I just say there's a couple of superstars in the crowd. And we're going to be all winding it down the next 20 minutes for Bbandz. I will say we do have a very, very, very special guest listener tonight. First-time listener, long-time supporter. I mean, we've kept quiet, but you know what I mean, Bruce, yeah? So good to see that, dude. When I followed straight away. Has he got that? Has he got the hexagon? Has he got it looks like the PFP's got a hexagon, is it? No, just look. Oh, no, it's not.
What's up, guys?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
What's up, guys?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I just be tuning in. I love the content. I like RAC FM. I love Cosmo. So I just be here, being a SpongeBob. That's all. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who you were, and I was like, I bet you that's somebody's alt account. And I was like trying to figure out. I was like, who's this guy? Because you've been around for a minute. We just never chatted.
Oh, yes. I actually came to Twitter to join, to just be up on all the crypto news and stuff. Because I've been trading crypto since 2017. I just didn't ever understand the potential that the blockchain have. Then I just was doing some research on stuff. It's this company called Zscaler, and I came across them in 2015, and they whole platform on everything with security, making a platform where you can build different blockchains and different cryptos and all of that stuff. I didn't understand none of that stuff back then. But to be honest, Cosmos is the only place I done seen that fits that description. So that's really why I'm part of the Cosmos Hub.
Agreed. 100% agreed, young man, yeah?
Yes.
I can hear dogs in the background. Are they your dogs, yeah? You sound like you're in the country or somewhere, yeah?
Oh, yes. I'm in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta. I got a Shepherd, a Molly, and a Pit Bull back there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very nice. Fucking cool people out of Georgia, I tell you what. Honestly, I've met a couple of people out of Georgia, cool as fuck. Nice and fucking chilled,
Yeah, I think Fox said he was out here in Georgia somewhere.
So you've been enjoying the shows? I see you got a nice skelly there as your PFP, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Did you mint that? Did you mint that, or did you pick it up on the floor, or what?
I bought it off the marketplace.
Very nice.
Bro, I must say that I absolutely love your dialect. Absolutely, man.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah,
Yep.
your voice.
Yeah.
It's very inviting. The way you speak is very inviting. Very, very nice.
Oh, thank you, guys.
It sounds so rustic. That's how I would describe your voice, dude. It sounds so rustic. I feel like I'm in the country sitting around some tomato plantations or something like that, just chilling, having a rum with you or something. That's how your voice makes me feel like, dude.
Yeah, when I went to California, every time I open my mouth up, people always was turning and looking at me. And I said, I just need to be quiet.
They were jealous. They're like, I wish I could sound like him. But they're like, you say, you can't. This is natural.
Oh, this guy's class. I've heard people from like Boston and that say the same though, you know. Like people from Boston will go to California with an accent and that, and people will just like stare at them like, what the fuck did you say?
I've also got the feeling that there is a certain culture in California, right? Around money and being right and being correct. But that's all assumptions.
Listen, I went to California thinking I wanted to move there. I went to Chula Vista. I spent like 2-3 months out there. And I was like, nah, I'll just go back to Florida. I didn't really like it too much, to be honest. It wasn't for me.
You one of them Florida women.
I like Florida a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not there.
I've heard it's impossible to live there in the summer though. Like people talk about the mosquitoes and like the heat and the storms and that. I've heard like it's all right when it's all right, but when it's not all right, it's fucking terrible. Like,
listen, I don't think you can get dengue fever in freaking Florida like you got, Robo. I'm just saying. Like, I lived in Florida for like 9 years and I didn't get no dengue fever, so I'll take some mosquitoes and hurricanes.
Wow. 9 years, quite a long time.
They got lizards running around everywhere.
The snakes is kind of gross, though. The snakes freaked me out a little bit because there were snakes everywhere.
A few weeks ago, like a massive python walked past the local shop, like about 400 yards from my house or something. Like I went down, I think there's a cheeky video somewhere, I should find it, but this like 20-foot long, gigantic, like Asian python just like casually mooching down the street. Like, we get them monitor lizards all the time.
Robo, that wasn't a python. That wasn't a python. That was the other end of me.
Oh, you might be right. Actually, it might be.
You got a tail, bro? That's crazy. No, I'm just playing.
You don't know Jar Jar Binks has got a tail. What you're talking about, woman? Come on.
Fucking love it, man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's going to be a good show. That I tell you what, man. We started at 8. And you guys will carry on through like 11, or it depends how it goes at the end. But that's some decent like Monday morning entertainment lineup for people who like wake up and maybe go to work or blah blah blah. You know, want like a bit of catch up on what's going on. That couple of good fucking shows for people there. Like, I like this one, Bbandz, the Monday where we can build up and then hand over to Bbandz. Been working out well for weeks now. Like,
it's like nice setup, man.
We feel like the warm up. We feel like the warm up show, didn't we? That's what we always talk about with Bruce. Well, I said today, wasn't it? Let the audience know.
I'm glad that this was recorded, so I'm gonna have to go listen to the beginning part of the talk because I was sleeping. But I'm really, really interested. I just heard the end part and I was like, whoa. Some serious.
So I can give you a resume. Basically, the beginning was just Mol shitting on everybody with his 10 degrees from college. So yeah.
It's like, and I graduated from Harvard, and then after I went to Harvard, I went to undergraduate school. After about 15 years of undergrad school, I was like, you know what, I want to learn some more. So I got on YouTube, took some courses, and I learned a little bit more. Welcome, guys. I'm smart.
Yeah, and then I built my own college because none of the other colleges could teach what I could teach myself.
That's why I like doing with you guys, because you're as fuck as I
am.
Imagine at the end of the story he went, and then I got so bored I built a time machine and went back to ancient fucking Macedonia and studied in the greatest universities in fucking ancient history. And then people are like, what? He's like, yeah, 88 miles an hour is not a fucking meme.
He's like, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Imagine that. Imagine your man from IPA3 said to him, Mol, what do you think about how does the future look to you? Mol, where we're going, we need no roads. Imagine the smell.
Well, man, we're headed nowhere, and that's the right thing.
Oh, bro, what a cracker. And I tweeted out tonight. This is what I said, and I hope people get it. We're going to continue to create shows that we want to listen to. And that's what I think is like really important, like just to emphasize, and other people are doing this as well. It's not about having these like people who are like right in the news cycle right now that are pumping out some, I don't know, cheap ass wallet or whatever you want to talk about, right? It's not about having the same faces on constantly, regularly, because that's what's going to, and that's what you can say about Bbandz. You're always shocked or surprised at who the guest is, and you've got no fucking idea. But some shows are just going to be the same again. These shows are created because we're geeks. We want to learn. We want to get better. Yeah, Bbandz, sorry.
Hey, real quick, are you guys messed around with Arbitrum because they have an airdrop coming in 3 days? So if you used Arbitrum, if you swapped, if you used the bridge, if you swapped anything, if you did some kind of interacted with some smart contracts, there'll be ARB waiting for you. And I went and I checked, I got some ARB waiting for me because I was
Girl, I'm from California. I don't need your free money.
I'm trying to be serious here, yo.
Do you know what he needs to do? Bruce, you need to say, like, forget the airdrop, get out of the building in your best Arnie voice. Bbandz, forget the airdrop.
Bbandz, don't think about the airdrop. Get out of the building now. I have a chopper.
Fucking Jesus Christ Almighty! Didn't get on about the ARB one. I heard fucking Don talking the other night, man. I was like, oh my god, like I haven't had a decent airdrop for like a fucking year. And then your man's like, yeah, I just got dropped 18K, and it's like, fucking Jesus.
He got 18K. I only got 4,000. Yeah. I only got 4,000, but that's.
God damn.
I think it was worth 18K. I think it was worth 18K or something.
Oh my God, man.
Oh, it's worth 18K. Well, it's not worth anything yet. They haven't, it hasn't been introduced to the market yet, has it?
I'm sure I remember 18K. I mean, I didn't think I was talking some sure it was USD value or something. But I don't know. Is there any way to price it up at the minute?
So wait, did he say how many he actually got? Like I got 4,000. I know somebody else got 6,000. I might be
down in the crowd anyway. I might be wrong, Bbandz. I remember 18K came out of somewhere though, I'm sure. So you've been using Arbitrum quite a bit because I saw the passing the 1 billion TVL on that swap.
Listen, the moment that I heard about GMX, I fucking jumped on that shit. I love GMX so hard. I got my Blueberry NFT from there. I sold it when I made a profit, which was cool, but I wish I never did. But yeah, I love GMX. That perpetual swap on there is beautiful.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, is it? And it's decent on like the online wallets and that, like on Trust Wallet and that. Hello there, Don. Don's come up to clarify about the ARB, right? I think.
Yeah, so there's a derivative of Arbitrum token trading on, I think it's BitMEX or something, and it's trading around like $9-10. So if that were to be the price, then I'd have 18,000. I got 1,875 of them.
I got more than you, DeFi Don? Wait a minute. That's impossible. 4,000?
You got 4,000 Arbitrum tokens?
Yes, ARB. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did you see, the only thing I didn't do was wait, so did you check all the boxes?
I've never heard Don this fucking flabbergasted in my life.
I checked 3 of the boxes. And here's the thing. So if you go to the list, the first 3 boxes I checked. But I also, I interacted with over 100 or 200 smart contracts on Arbitrum. So I think that's also, what upped me, because I was constantly harvesting my GMX and my wrapped Ethereum. And I also have escrow GMX sitting locked in there. So I think that also counts towards it.
True. Okay. Yeah. Because I didn't use Arbitrum much. I had just been using it the month prior, probably just going in a few when all the Arbitrum tokens were having hype.
Oh no, this has been I think as soon as Arbitrum came out, the moment it came out, I bridged over funds. It took forever. The bridge was wonky and sucked. And then I just started kind of like messing around with it. So it's been a minute. I think Arbitrum's been out a year and a half now.
Yeah, I know that. So, yeah, you had to bridge over $10,000 to get that was one of the eligibility things. And I think that's where I might have got it from. Because I missed the bottom two. How
Yeah, I
many-
only did the top three. So look at the top three. Those are the three that I did.
So you missed the bottom two as well?
Yes, I missed the bottom two.
What the hell? That's crazy.
But
you did more
weren't-
transactions. That's what it is.
Yes, I did a lot. I did like a lot of transactions, and they're so cheap. I just kept harvesting my.
Well, good for you.
Oh, I kind of feel a little bit
Payday.
proud of myself, DeFi Don.
Yeah, you done well, Bbandz.
So, Bbandz, since you got so many, you can just send up some over, right?
She went quiet, very quiet there. Did you know?
I'm sorry,
Straight on
you guys
you.
are breaking up. I got 5 minutes before I got to go beyond. I go and prepare. You know, I guys love you so much.
She's looking over at her husband like, do something. Can you do something?
All right, guys. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, Bbandz, we'll see you. We'll see you in 5 minutes on your show. Don, I just want to say very quickly, dude, from the community, the feedback about Friday has been insane, hasn't it, Bruce? Everybody had a great time. It's been class. So, Don, thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. Had a great time.
Yeah, you're a fucking G, DeFi. You're a fucking G.
People's been DMing saying, fuck, like we didn't, like, there's a lot of things we didn't know about, didn't realize, especially like the lend, borrow, lend thing and that.
Right. No, that's awesome to hear.
Oh, dude, we're definitely going to do a monthly. We might not do it for like the Friday show because that's a bit different, but we're talking about like who else we can slot in if we could have like another one, like the three of you, or even another two like proper OGs. Just come together once a month and like educate our little like community. That would be amazing, dude.
Hell yeah. No, I'm
Classic.
definitely down for that.
I'm pretty sure that the Bbandz will pay you in some ARP tokens.
Before we go,
I gotta run.
Take care, Don. No worries. Take care, buddy. Take care. I wonder if Mol, have you been on Arbitrum or did you get an airdrop or what?
Yeah, I've been on Arbitrum a bit, but I didn't receive that big. I think it was like 1,000, something like that. But definitely, yeah.
Be all right if it's like $10 or, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's for sure. But no, I mean, I think if it's $10, I'm gonna get like 1,000. So I didn't use it much. I just used it at the very beginning, but we've got plan to explore that thing because there's so much liquidity there. It's amazing.
What you're playing with?
You can hear. Sorry, Robo. You can hear how much he licks his mouth when he says so much liquidity. You can hear he's fucking drooling.
If you look historically at the recent, like some of the tokens or like things like Aptos, things like OP and stuff like that, and things like even ApeCoin or whatever, if you go back that far, like there's no reason why, say, like ARB can't have like a crazy run up, because it's going to be the typical situation, right, of like the people who didn't get that airdrop thinking they're going to miss out. They'll wait for like a little slump, and then there'll be slurpies, and then that thing will fucking pump. Telling you, if you're brave enough to avoid the first dump, that thing will giga pump. If you look at like history, and that's just a simple fucking fact. Like, go and look at those coins, like I mentioned, some of the classic like big airdrops recently. Look what happened, man.
Yeah, and I was wondering like when the airdrop's gonna happen. I think it's 4 days now. I don't remember exactly the date, but
yeah,
I'm just guessing. Like some people are gonna swap to, let's say, USD or USDC or anything. But like I have a feeling that some of this money is gonna go like into smaller coins on ARB. So that's why I bought a bit of like coins there, just to see if there's gonna be money flowing in these coins.
Smart. Was that the AI that told you to do that?
No.
So just before we close up, if you enjoy quantum randomness, I would suggest you go and watch the HBO series called Devs, which is all about quantum computing and randomness and how to predict it. And that shit is fucking exciting, man.
Are you glad that today we had that little Discord call and I said, make sure you're following the ANU, right? The physics ANU, and then your man Ben, who you were calling Ken. I don't know why his name's Ken when it's actually Ben, but never mind. Dude, did you hear him mention it about the?
Yeah. The it was the quantum optics group. It's called from ANU. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. Dude, I knew he was going to go down that route. I said that, based some of their research on their research, right, or some of their work on the research, yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at it right after you said it. So yeah, it was nice little call, nice little coaching, bro. I really appreciate it. You helped me improve myself. Oh,
tonight was you'll find out when you listen back or whatever over the next couple of nights how good tonight actually was. Very, very well presented, real 5-star quality, mate. I couldn't be more proud, dude, of you. I am really buzzing, and long may it continue.
Thank you, man. Finn just jumped in at the 2-hour mark. I think that's the sign.
To go to beep, he's going to come in and say, "Can you all fuck off over to Bbandz, please, you fucking pleb cunts?" But he's going to do it with that. That American yeah. Can you all fuck off over there? You fucking, because I'm a Karen. I talk like a Karen when I'm annoyed. Isn't that Finn, isn't he? Mr. Karen, he's going to cut this out of the, when he does the edit, he's like, that's not going in, so we might as well finish now, dude. Mol, we know you're busy. Thank you so much. Listen, Mol, Friday we're going to surprise you. Bruce is going to do a special for the NFT marketplace going live, because it's very late here for me, and Bruce is going to do the duty. So yeah, man, if you've got anything to talk to Bruce about or whatever, or if you want to come on Friday, we know you'll be busy. There might be bugs, etc., right? So we understand that, but there'll be a mic, yeah, Mo. Okay.
Sounds
guys,
good.
I had a question before y'all guys got out of here. I was wondering what would be a good amount of Racøøn tokens to hold.
Oh, that's a good question. I personally hold just around 5,500, but I feel very underexposed. So yeah, but also Racøøn coin is my biggest bag besides Racøøn NFTs. So I don't know. I just want to collect as many as possible. I might not be the right guy to answer that question.
All I will say. Go on, Mo.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to say, to be honest. It depends what risk you want to take, but maybe it's worth mentioning that we discussed with Migaloo, Whitewell, Sam basically, and they provided some good ideas of what we could do with the RAC token if we go interchain and if we use RAC token on every chain. So that's one thing that I wanted to discuss, but it's in the discussion, and I think I'm just gonna post something on the DAO or maybe just discussion of what everyone thinks about that.
No, Mol, no. Don't post anything for at least about the next 10 days, because we might need an accumulation phase. That's all I'm going to say. So, chill out a little bit, Mol. You know what I'm saying, bro? You know what I'm saying?
That's fine. We're going to wait a bit.
I would say, though, if you want to be part of the future, and this is no shit, right, guys? There's only 900,000, right? I think it's a 976 or whatever total supply, less than 1 million. This will be used for various things in the future. So all I'm saying is, if you've got 1% of RAC tokens, you'll be a multi-millionaire in the future, and that's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to go and say hello to Bbandz.
Okay, thank you, dude. That's what I was looking for. That was the question. That was the answer I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, get your hands on 1%, dude, if you can. Then that's really, really a smart move for the future. Okay, bro?
All right, thank you, dude.
Right on, guys. I'm off. See you in a bit. Yeah, go on, Brucey, close it down.
So with that said, man, I would just like to thank everyone that has been participating and everyone that has been listening. This is Bruceman hosting for RAC FM. See ya, you plebs.
It's the RAC show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the backflow. Let's go, chillin' with Racøøns by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We Racøøn bitch, ready to fight. So many Racøøns ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Racøøn Supply has the right price, giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Larry or with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack rap from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack back from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack. Blast that rack rap from the stash app. Supplying the raccoons with a headbang rap. Rack gang with the rack will slang like a trash can. Hoodie with fangs and a gold chain. It's either rack will or the red pill. Best chill while we get into the first meal. Best feel, best devs with the best skill. No shill, all real, secret is a great deal. Rack will insane, Shane better stand fast. Robo shooting his tweets with straight facts. Knowledge from the street, with the best plan yet. Winston gotta eat if you retweet that. Free alpha life feed from the base camp. McKenna always ready if you dare that. Buying all raccoons for his rare stash. Trash panda biker gang motherfucking hashtag. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack rap from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack back from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack.
TerraSpaces.